political shakeup is underway in Israel. Rival parties announcing they created an alliance, and they did it to oust Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And co-host of The World Tonight, Kelly Wright, has covered the Prime Minister and the region. We've talked to him. We've asked him to join us this morning and really give us more perspective and insight. So good morning, Kelly. We got you up early, and we appreciate you very much. And we need you on this one because this, as we said, is groundbreaking. We don't even know if it's going to hold, but given your experience there, do you think this change of power is even going to happen?
After speaking to, well, first of all, good morning to both of you. Thanks for having me on, Mike and Sharon. It's good to start your day. But getting to the point, I think after speaking to people on the ground there, as well as some other sources, that this is something that the Israeli people want. You look, think about what they've been through. They've done 4 elections within 2 years. They've gone through an 11-day war that caused a lot of pain and destruction of property for Palestinians mostly, but also for people living in the Jewish settlements. And then they are still experiencing civil unrest. And they're just tired. They want Bibi Netanyahu gone. That's what they've talked to me about, and they want him out. And so when you see this new government coming together, this new coalition with hardliners and moderates coming together, some of the people that I've spoken to, as a matter of fact, this morning, are looking at this as an opening. They want Bibi gone. They want an opportunity to bring, you ever hear that saying, opposites attract? So, and your friend of my friend is my enemy, so you're my frenemy. So these frenemies are coming together, if you will, because there's the hardliners who will lead this coalition government for 2 years, and then, of course, the moderate that will lead it for another 2 years. But then in the midst of that is an Arab coalition. So now you have the opportunity to have a little bit of optimism that there might be a breakthrough of hope in settling the situations on the ground there in Israel.
Kelly, I want to get to how that's going to work with the two of them, but I want to talk more about Netanyahu. And you mentioned there are a lot of Israelis that want him out, but there are a lot of Israelis over there, much like Trump over here, that still has a lot of support for Netanyahu. What kind of issues could that raise? Because we have a divided nation here, obviously, in the United States, with the Republicans on one side, or the Trumpicans, I should say, on one side, and the rest of the nation. How is that going to work in Israel if Netanyahu is out of the prime minister position after the election?
And that, my friend, is a $64 million question. What are the people who support Netanyahu's hardline stance and his far right stance? What will they do? How will they react? I can tell you that while he has a lot of support through his Likud party, he does not have enough support to pull off what we saw the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, pull off, and that is 74 million votes from QAnon conspirators and white supremacists and attacking the United States Capitol. I don't see that happening. I don't think people will be storming the Knesset and demanding Parliament to keep Netanyahu in power, because he has burned so many bridges. He's ousted so many friends who were allies of his. And furthermore, he's facing jail time.
Yeah, and so let's unpack that, Kelly, because if he's ousted, that's exactly where he might end up. Based on what you know about him, will he be able to cut some kind of deal to avoid it?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think anything is possible for the magician. This is a guy who has a lot of ties. He knows a lot of, and he knows his country very well. He knows his people very well. And while so many people are just outraged with him for the corruption charges that he's been convicted of, and the fact that he's facing jail time, he is cagey. He is someone who can try to work his way out. He's trapped right now, and he's trying to find a way out, and he's doing exactly what we've seen the former president of the United States here do, Donald Trump. You're causing distraction. And out of that distraction, you're trying to find a way to keep yourself afloat and keep yourself in power, to keep yourself out of a jail cell. And so because of that, he's now saying that this is a fraud government, and he's already attacking the left-wing government of the parliament.
Yeah, fraud. You could be in jail. You got support. You got people that are against. how often have we seen Netanyahu and Trump in the same place at the same time? It's kind of curious. It seems like too similar.
Very close.
Very close.
Mike, some people would call that a Gangster Summit, where you have two people coming together. They know how to wield power. They know how to infatuate their masses with support. They have the charisma. They have the charm. We may not see it as such, knowing how we are and how we viewed Donald Trump. But I would tell you that Bibi Netanyahu, who is really comes from a great background. His brother was a war hero. And I don't know what happens to people when they get empowered. And perhaps in his case, and I can't speak for the man's conscience and soul, but perhaps the elixir of power became such a seduction and such a high that he held on to it with all of his might. And what a real political leader, especially a Democratic leader, should do is be a servant leader. And somewhere along the line, he miscued on that, as well as the former President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Wow.
But yet, like minds attract each other.
That would be a lot. Quickly, before we let you go, and I know you got to get some rest because you got to be at work at 5 p.m. Eastern time here.
I'm good, man.
It's all about peace. Peace in the Middle East and Gaza. So if Netanyahu's out and we got this coalition in, how is that going to work for the peace there in Palestine?
Well, real quickly, I just got off the phone with Canon Andrew White. He's better known as the Vicar of Baghdad. He has worked with people like Yasser Arafat and so many different leaders there in Israel. And he has stated that their group, as well as Rabbi Michael Melchior, former member of the cabinet at the Knesset, as well as the former deputy foreign affairs minister, they have collectively worked for the past 25 years to broker peace on the ground between the Palestinians and the Israelis, the Christians, the Muslims, and the Jews. And that's what they are now doing. And that's why they see this as perhaps an opportunity that they can have a breakthrough on the ground with the people, bringing the people together, as we like to talk about here, as Dr. King said, to that table of brotherhood. And y'all know, anytime you sit down at the table of brotherhood, you're not always going to agree. You may not like what the uncle and cousins are saying, but you got to come to that table if you're going to create any kind of beloved community. And Israel has a problem in its hand. These guys on the ground through the Middle East Peace Religious Initiative are making it possible, and this is something that they're welcoming.